Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Pour yourself something strong, because today we're diving into what might be the most humiliating Hollywood rejection Prince Harry has faced since leaving royal life. What happened at the HBO Max Emmy afterparty is so shocking, so brutal, and so revealing about Harry's actual standing in Tinseltown that I almost couldn't believe it when the reports started coming in. But multiple eyewitnesses have confirmed it, and the footage doesn't lie. Prince Harry, once celebrated as the charming people's prince, has officially become Hollywood's most embarrassing party crasher. Now I know you guys are excited for more blinds, but before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now let me break this down for you because the details are absolutely wild. Picture this scene. The Emmy afterparty is in full swing. Hollywood's biggest stars are mingling, networking, celebrating. The atmosphere is exclusive, electric, the very definition of A-list. And then, without warning or invitation, Prince Harry strolls in. Uninvited, unannounced, and completely unwelcome. That's right, Harry wasn't even on the guest list. His name wasn't on any entry roster, and insiders report that his appearance caught both security personnel and HBO executives completely off guard. In Hollywood, gate-crashing an exclusive event like this is considered a cardinal sin, a desperate move that screams has-been rather than power player. For Harry, who once believed doors would automatically open at the mere mention of Sussex, being forced to sneak into an event was just the first blow to his already fragile ego. But what happened next was even worse. As Harry walked in, the atmosphere visibly shifted. Whispers turned to laughter. Laughter turned to jeers, and soon, actual booing echoed through the venue. Eyewitnesses report hearing shouts like, "Go home, Harry, and you're not royalty here," ringing out across the room. For a man who once stood before cheering crowds as a decorated prince, the sound of Hollywood elites openly mocking him must have cut deeper than any tabloid headline ever could. And here's the kicker, it was all caught on camera. Within hours, clips of Harry being heckled and booed had gone viral, amplifying his humiliation on a global scale. The chaos became so intense that security had to intervene. Multiple sources describe guards scrambling as hecklers surrounded Harry with chants and boos, forcing them to shuffle him into a corner of the venue, shielding him from guests who openly wanted him to leave. Just imagine the optics of that moment. A prince who was once protected by palace guards and treated with deference wherever he went, now reduced to a party crasher being protected from angry guests by event staff. For Harry, it must have been another painful reminder that he is no longer the man he once was, or thought he was. Perhaps the most telling part of this entire debacle was Meghan's absence. Harry, who is almost always flanked by his wife at Hollywood gatherings, faced this brutal rejection completely alone. Industry analysts suggest Meghan deliberately avoided the event, knowing full well how far the couple's stock has plummeted in Tinseltown. For a man who left his family, his country, and his crown for the Hollywood dream, facing the storm without Meghan by his side only made the humiliation more complete. The final crushing blow came from the very people Harry was desperately hoping to impress: HBO and Warner Brothers executives. Multiple witnesses report that when Harry attempted to approach these power players, they literally turned away from him, refusing photos and brushing him off with dismissive gestures. In an industry where networking is everything, this kind of public rejection is absolutely catastrophic. Hollywood has spoken, and its message couldn't be clearer. Prince Harry is not an asset. He's a liability. But the humiliation didn't end when Harry left the party. What happened after the booing might be even more embarrassing. Desperate to salvage something from the evening, Harry reportedly began pitching Archewell projects to any producer or executive who would listen. Eyewitnesses describe him floating ideas about documentaries, scripted series, and even a royal-inspired drama. Instead of interest, he was met with awkward silence and polite deflections. One producer was even overheard joking, "We're not Netflix, Harry." In that moment, the room saw him not as a prince, but as a desperate salesman peddling projects no one wanted. Several Hollywood stars were openly mocking his fall from grace, with one quipping, "From palace to party crasher, what a downgrade." Another added, "He's not even A-list, He's a sideshow. These comments undoubtedly cut deeper than the booze because they confirmed what many have suspected for months. In Hollywood, Harry isn't respected or admired. He's entertainment, and not in the way he hoped to be. Within hours, clips of Harry's humiliation had spread across social media like wildfire. TikTok and Twitter users piled on with hashtags like Boo Harry, Party Crasher Prince, and Go Home Harry trending worldwide. Some users captioned the footage from royal duties to desperate Hollywood antics, while others spliced clips of Harry being booed with footage of his royal exit, mocking him as the man who traded duty for desperation. The internet effectively sealed his humiliation into viral history. Meanwhile, inside Buckingham Palace, sources say aides weren't surprised at all. One insider reportedly remarked, "He wanted independence. Hollywood has given him exactly that. Independence from relevance." For the royal family, Harry's Emmy fiasco wasn't just another embarrassing headline. It was poetic justice. The man who left to build his own empire was now reduced to gate-crashing parties and being heckled in public. His fall from grace wasn't just visible to Hollywood, it was being quietly savored in London. This Emmy debacle represents more than just a bad night out. It symbolizes the complete collapse of Harry's post-royal aspirations. He left the palace believing he could conquer Hollywood, that his royal status would translate into entertainment industry clout. But instead of being celebrated as a royal-turned-star, he is now seen as a desperate outsider, uninvited, booed, mocked, ignored by executives, and ridiculed online. Harry's so-called Hollywood dream effectively ended that night. What makes this situation particularly tragic is how it connects to Harry's latest Netflix plans. Reports suggest the Sussexes are now planning a documentary about Princess Diana as part of their desperate attempt to remain relevant. It's a move that reeks of exploitation, using his mother's memory to prop up his failing brand. As one industry insider put it, when all else fails, he returns to the only story Hollywood still cares about, his mother's tragedy. The timing couldn't be worse. Just as Harry is being booed out of Hollywood parties, he's planning to revisit the most sensitive chapter of the royal story, almost certainly guaranteeing that any chance of reconciliation with his brother William will be permanently destroyed. The Prince of Wales has always been protective of their mother's memory, and a Netflix documentary directed by the very brother who has repeatedly betrayed family confidences will be seen as the ultimate betrayal. What's becoming increasingly clear is that Harry and Meghan are still, in a twisted way, popular, but for all the wrong reasons. Their names dominate headlines, their faces flood social media, and their scandals trend worldwide. But when was the last time they trended for an actual achievement? Not for charity work, not for leadership, not for innovation, always for humiliation or controversy. Meghan trends because her as-ever brand collapses under debt and mockery. Harry trends because he's booed at the Emmys. Meghan trends because she's roasted by comedians. Harry trends because Parliament is moving to strip his titles. They are no longer icons, they are spectacles. Even Hollywood insiders admit it. The Sussexes have become clickbait celebrities. People tune in not to admire, but to laugh, to mock, to gossip. And that's the cruelest irony of all. They wanted to escape the monarchy to become global power players and forces for positive change. Instead, they've become caricatures of themselves. Still famous, still talked about, still unavoidable, but for all the wrong reasons. In today's world, attention doesn't equal respect, and popularity doesn't equal credibility. Harry and Meghan, more than anyone else, are learning that lesson the hard way. The Emmy after-party rejection reveals just how drastically Harry has miscalculated his position in America. He genuinely seems to believe he's still royalty, that his title carries the same weight in Hollywood that it did in Britain. But Hollywood operates on an entirely different currency: relevance, talent, and bankability. Harry brings none of these to the table. His Netflix shows underperformed. His memoir sold well initially, but created no lasting impact. His speeches draw smaller and smaller crowds. Without the protection of the palace, without the deference automatically granted to working royals, Harry is being judged solely on his merits. And the verdict from Hollywood couldn't be clearer. He simply doesn't measure up. The brutal reality is that Harry's only real value to the entertainment industry was his connection to the very institution he spent years criticizing. Now that he's burned those bridges, what's left is a middle-aged man with no particular talents or expertise, trying desperately to sell his increasingly stale story of royal victimhood. Perhaps the most telling detail from the Emmy after-party disaster was a comment overheard from one studio executive. 4 years ago, we would have cleared the room for him. Now we're clearing him from the room. That single statement encapsulates Harry's stunning fall from grace better than any analysis could. The novelty has worn off. The sympathy has evaporated. What remains is embarrassment, both for Harry and for those associated with him. For those of us who have followed Harry's journey from beloved prince to Hollywood outcast, there's something profoundly sad about watching his public humiliation unfold. This was a man who once had everything: purpose, respect, a platform for genuine good. His work with wounded veterans through the Invictus Games showed real promise and authenticity. His mental health advocacy could have been his legacy. Instead, he traded it all for a California dream that has turned into a nightmare of rejection and ridicule. The question now is whether there's any path back to relevance for Harry. Can someone who has been so publicly rejected by Hollywood's elite ever rebuild their reputation? Industry insiders are skeptical. One agent put it bluntly, "In this town, you get one shot at the big leagues." Harry had his, and he wasted it on projects no one cared about. Now he's just another former celebrity trying to stay relevant. What makes Harry's situation even more precarious is that he has no fallback position. He's burned his bridges with the royal family so thoroughly that a return to Britain seems impossible. His relationships with childhood friends have reportedly disintegrated. His military connections have weakened. He's effectively trapped in a California lifestyle he can't escape, watching his relevance diminish with each passing day. The Emmy after-party disaster marks a turning point, the moment when Hollywood stopped pretending to care about Prince Harry. No more polite invitations, no more courtesy meetings, no more deference to his former status. Just the brutal reality of a town that chews up and spits out celebrities every day. A town that has now decided Harry isn't even worth the effort of pretending. What do you think about Harry's humiliating rejection at the Emmy after-party? Has he officially gone from palace prestige to Hollywood punchline? Is there any way back for the former prince, or is this the beginning of an even steeper decline? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more royal insights. This story is still developing, and you know I'll be right here keeping you updated on every twist and turn. Until next time, thanks for watching. Ta-ta, and bye for now.